Eurovision and Doctor Who just got together and had a baby.
Welcome to the 803rd Interstellar Song Contest!
At arms.
I will survive, and I will find you.
You can still help those people.
Bump.
Can't we call for rescue?
I just finished watching Doctor Who Season 2, Episode 6, the Interstellar Song Contest, and I loved it. I don't think that's much of a surprise, but this season, I will say it right now, I can't even speak. It's been phenomenal. Finale starts next week because it's two-parter, and I think we are in for a treat. Anyways, let's talk about this week's episode and not get ahead of ourselves. Spoiler free first, and then we will go into spoiler territory. As we saw in the trailer, we have the biggest song contest of the universe with Rylan, which I think it was a very good casting choice. I do think, say we are remembering great hosts of our generation, I think Rylan would be one of them. And then, as we saw in the trailer, obviously something has gone wrong and there are people going out into the atmosphere, like a lot of people. It just looked like a sort of sand timer of people going off into space. We know this episode has been written by Juno Dawson, who is a trans author, and I feel like that was the right choice because the episode has a good balance of campness but also serious Doctor Who-ness, and I feel like the campness was evident but it wasn't in your face, and I loved it. And that's the importance of having diverse writers. I said it with last week's episode for the story and the engine, and I'll say it again for this episode, the Interstellar Song Contest. But anyways, I want to go to spoiler territory now because I like talking about the episode. That's why I'm here. I'm not talking about the surface level stuff. We're going deep under the surface now. So if you haven't watched the episode, get off of this video because you're going to ruin it for yourself and you're going to be upset. I don't want you to be upset, so leave. I've never really been a massive fan of Eurovision, and it's funny because Juno, the writer of this episode, she had said that Doctor Who and Eurovision are like cousins, and I find it weird that I'm such a Whovian, but I've never been a Eurovisioner. Is that what people... I don't know what people who watch Eurovision are called. Anyways, despite never watching Eurovision properly, I actually really enjoyed that episode. I felt like it was very camp, it was very fun, and I feel like what made it so good was the betrayal. I love a betrayal story because you look at people and you're like, oh my gosh, what's the story? This, that, and the other. Why are Kid and Win so angry? Why have they just suspended everyone into outer space? Why did Win want to save Cora? And then bam, big reveal, Cora is one of them. Not gonna lie, I knew it. From when I looked at Cora's hair, I didn't know what it was. I was just like, I feel like you could hide horns under there. I wasn't paying much attention. I didn't realize how far the horns came out, but I reckon I could hide horns in my hair. Yeah, look, I reckon I could hide a horn in there. Anyways, why are Kid and Win trying to kill 3 trillion people and also all the people in the stadium? But then you realize it's because what did they say? The government, the corporation basically wiped out their planet for the taste of honey. I guess they just thought, you know what, we gotta make a statement, and that would have been a very big statement. But what they ended up doing, which I'm sure Kid and Win did not factor in, is they made the one person who you do not want to make mad, and that is the Doctor. It was when the Doctor was giving that sort of speech to Kid, through the intercom, and he was like, you have put ice in my heart, I'm gonna find you. And I've never seen Ncuti's Doctor that angry, and I think it's one of those Doctor defining moments. Every Doctor has it. You've got the 9th Doctor and Dalek, and this is the 15th Doctors and the Interstellar Song Contest. I don't think in the last 2 seasons we've had the Doctor this angry. In Dot and Bubble, you had him outraged sort of thing. I think Ncuti's acting was amazing. I'll say it. I've said it before. I'll say it again. Ncuti, great choice for the Doctor. He's got so many layers to him. He's got the campness of the Doctor. And before anyone tries to argue with me, the Doctor has always been camp, okay? Doctor Who has always been camp. And Ncuti plays it beautifully. And then you've got the anger played beautifully, the emotion played beautiful, the joy, the happiness, the excitement. Ncuti is my Doctor. 11, I just found this in my room. Matt Smith's Doctor 11, he is my favourite Doctor. But now I'm thinking Ncuti is either my second favourite or up there with Matt Smith. So I'm going to have to get a Ncuti bust. He did have a jammy dodger, but it broke. Anyways, I feel like we needed to see that rage from Ncuti because it just added more to his doctor, and I was like, wow, what an angry man. But luckily Belinda came in, and I think that's what it is. Like, this is what the companions do. They remind the doctor why he does this, who he is, why he is not a murderer, why he's not like them, why he has to be better than them. Mike and Gary, loved them. They were a great duo. I think I liked that they were sort of the doctor's companions in that moment. They were both very helpful. Like, they were literally exactly what the doctor needed. I really enjoyed Cora's character. She was very emotive, and I think as well, you know, that end bit where she was singing, wow, like I have no idea what she said, but loved it. Like, I was there like, oh my gosh, like I teared up a little bit, and I have no idea what she said, but there was so much emotion in her voice, and I'm like, yes, wow. And she revealed who she was to all these people, and they clapped, they applauded. That's what it means to be who you are. How did I forget to mention that Susan was in the doctor's mind? Why is Susan there? Because everything Russell T Davies is very intentional. I've noticed that, and I know Russell T Davies didn't write this episode, but obviously as the showrunner he has this input, and he's obviously said something. So why was Susan there? That's what I want to know, because obviously it was like a vision, but visions are never just visions. It's not just like a dream or something. Like, there was a reason Susan was there. I find it interesting as well because obviously we had not Mrs. Flood, Susan Triad, and people were like, oh, why is that the same name as the doctor's granddaughter? We keep being reminded of the doctor's granddaughter, and there must be a significance to it. We got Mel back, so I feel like we can get we've got her back. We saw her. Yeah, what does this mean? And then next week, the end of the world, May 24th. It's the date we know has been coming since the beginning of the season, but we've been given nothing, literally nothing. All we know is Graham Norton told us the world ended on May 24th. So what world are they going? Well, Earth ended on May 24th. So what Earth are they going back to? They landed on that date, and cloister bells went off in the TARDIS, and there was an explosion. This is giving very Amy, Rory, June 26th, 2010, but we are being given nothing, and I actually love it. Like, as much as I would love to know, like, even just a snippet, I think there must be a reason why this has been kept so under wraps, and I think these 2 episodes are going to be magnificent, because the whole season's been magnificent. So surely, like, I don't see a world where the last 2 episodes flop it, because there's been so much hype. Even when it's showing on not next week, the week after, the final of the finale, it's not showing on iPlayer at 8 a.m. It's showing at the exact same time everywhere, and I think that means something big is happening. But yes, those are my thoughts on the Interstellar Song Contest. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know what you're thinking for next week. What's going to happen? And I know I say it all the time, but Mrs. Flood is getting more and more like apparent in these episodes. Like, she's there monitoring. What was that thing she had? She said all charged up, and then she went. I don't know, but we'll see you next week, won't we?